All right, welcome back to 1700, everyone. We are very, very excited. We have Russell Morris in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks,
welcome.
Sam. Thanks, Yasmin.
No worries. It is, and I just want to start off by saying congratulations, first off. Your latest album, Sharkmouth, has reached number 6 in the ARIA charts last time I checked, trumping Pink and Ed Sheeran.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is. It's a fabulous feeling, considering I didn't think, well, when we first did it, no one was really interested in it, and I was going to just sell it at shows and just try and make my money back. And what's happened since then has just been phenomenal.
Yeah, well, talking about the ARIAs, you were also inducted into the ARIA Hall of Fame in 2008, which is, you know, fantastic for any artist, I believe. How did that feel for you?
Well, I thought that was the sign of my gold watch.
Yeah.
It's like, here's your gold watch.
Well, you proved them wrong, hey?
Yeah, just disappear. So it was almost like a gold watch. So I was chuffed that I was inducted. It was lovely, but I thought, yeah, they're sort of saying, yeah, you've had a good run, so just disappear now.
Yeah. But you're back and you're here to stay, I think, hey?
Yeah, it's been, yeah, as I said, great.
Fantastic.
Now, let's talk about your album, Sharkmouth, and I found it to be a bit of a history lesson, personally, because each song is about a certain Melbourne, Sydney icon from the past. You sing about Squizzy Taylor and Phar Lap, things that are certainly beyond my time that I learnt about. Why did you choose to write the album this way?
My grandmother, who was a beautiful old lady, she lived to 93.
Wow.
And we lived in Richmond, and she would regale me with stories. And she would see Squizzy Taylor standing on the corner of Church Street and Bridge Road.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she said he was a little squirt. She said, but he dressed very sort of fancy though. He's a little dapper man. And I went to Richmond Tech, and growing up in Richmond, those stories permeated everything, you know, like you would always, 70 years later, people were still talking about it. So I had started a blues album,
yep.
And I was really halfway, 4 songs into it, and I thought, I can't write songs about Mississippi or New Orleans, you know. I want to finish a blues album. I really need something I feel right about.
Something close to home.
Yeah, I was a bit conflicted, and I went to Sydney, and there in the newspaper was a colour supplement, and the photo was of a guy called Thomas Archer, which is the front of my album cover. And I looked at it and I was just transfixed. I thought, what a great photo. And I looked at it and I took it home. And then I wrote a song about him. It was almost like he didn't really speak to me, but it was like he spoke to me and said, write a song about my life.
That's
All
awesome.
the songs you've written up until now are just about fantasy situations. Write about reality. And it was almost he opened a door, and in that room was Squizzy Taylor and the Great Depression and all those sort of things. So I did it. Some are really factual and some are just with broad brushstrokes to try and capture a feeling.
And you can go, yes.
How do you think the youth will connect with your new album and your music? Because, you know, as Sam did mention and you've mentioned, these characters and these stories, they're our history, yet most of us weren't born, you know,
No,
when
that's right.
that was all happening.
Well, I wasn't born either.
Yeah.
But the thing was, so I wasn't born either then. So
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating to look at old photos. You look
Yeah.
at these old photos and you look at and you see Squizzy Taylor, or you see Thomas Archer, or you see Phar Lap, or you see Les Darcy, or you see the Great Depression, the
Yeah.
lines of people, and you think, oh, it's another era. It's something that
Definitely.
we wouldn't experience. But hang on, we are. Phar Lap, Black Caviar.
Yeah.
The Great Depression, what's happening in Europe. Same thing, the economy's gone to muck. All the killings, the gangland killings, the razor gangs then, and you look at what happened in Melbourne only a few years ago with the Morans and Gangitano and sort of Venom and Benjamin and things like that. So
History's repeating
it's
itself.
repeating itself. So that I find that fascinating because even though we look vastly different to them, same things were happening.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
So, which icon have you chosen to sing for us today about? What track will you be performing?
I may as well sing the song. I usually do this with another guitar player, so I'll struggle through this and probably sound like an idiot. I'll do the first song that started me on this journey about Thomas Archer. It's called Sharkmouth.
Beautiful. Well, we look very much forward to this. We're going to talk to you also about Record Store Day because it's in its 5th year and you are the Australian ambassador for it, and Jack White is the international ambassador in the States. So there's lots of things going on for everyone at home as well. We'll be giving you sort of the ins and outs of record stores and what they'll be having on. But we've got the man himself, Russell, the ambassador, to talk to us through the whole thing. So would you like to stick around and tell us a bit about that after the break?
I will, I'd love to, yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, we are back with Russell Morris. Thank you for joining us, as we said. Now, tomorrow is an exciting day. It's Record Day, Record Store Day, and you are the Australian ambassador for, Australian Record Store Day, sorry. Tell us about it. What can we expect?
Well, it's great to be the ambassador. They've got that old guy in America doing it, Jack White. Yes. He's much older than me.
Of course.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's great to do it because this record that I've got out, and record stores to me are really fascinating. I love to go in and actually flick through the CDs or albums and look at them, and I love to touch them. I love the tactile nature of them. If I download, I tend to download very minimally. It's only if I have to learn a song or hear someone's song. Because if I want an album, I like to go and buy it and have it. If I do download the album, I eventually go and buy the album. And I have a great debt to pay back to the record stores, because the record stores were really what helped break my album.
Yeah.
Because they embraced it and started playing it in store, and people would come in and go, "Who's that?" And they would tell them, and they would buy it. And the great thing about a record store is if you go in and they say, "Well, what music are you into?" You might say, "Well, I'm into freeform jazz or something." "Oh, really? What albums?" And then they say, "Listen, I've got," and it's a very hands-on, personal sort of thing, and they try to find out what you want, and I think it's a very nice way to buy records.
Yeah,
and CDs.
Yeah, that's a really important point that you bring up, that the process is actually quite tangible. You can touch, and you can, you have that sense of buying, and that album belongs to you, that record belongs to you once you've bought it. So I think it's said now that feeling is what's going to keep the record industry alive, because a lot of people still want to be able to buy a tangible product rather than downloading online. How do you think that shift will work?
I think it's right, because there's still, out of all the things that are sold, 60% are CDs. The 40% are downloads and things like that, but still 60%. There's a big, and the vinyl market's becoming bigger and bigger. People, particularly younger people like you guys, are really embracing it. And I've talked to a couple of record store people and CD store people, and they said vinyl's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger all the time.
I can vouch for that. I'm starting my own collection. My dad's got a really cool turntable as well that he's taught me how to use and make sure everything's perfect. We brush the vinyl first. Just touching on what you said before about your album, you had a lot of trouble getting it sort of on the radio and sort of in the interest of record labels. And I just wanted to know, what was your first record? Do you remember the first record that you purchased?
The first record I purchased was actually a jazz record, and it was a band called the Red Onions Jazz Band, who morphed into a band called the Loved Ones, who became a very famous Australian rock band, very unique. And then the next one I bought was the Rolling Stones, their very first album.
Beautiful.
And do you have a collection?
No, I don't have a collection. I have a lot of CDs. I don't have any vinyl anymore, because I ended up throwing my player out, but I've been thinking of buying another one. Yeah.
Definitely, because even now, I know my mum has a collection, but even my young cousins have started their collection. As Sam said, she's started a collection. So it's definitely something that's ongoing,
it's growing,
passing on through the generations.
And just quickly, Russell, you'll be performing at Eastland Shopping Centre on Record Store Day at 11 o'clock, and you'll also be doing some signing later on in the day.
That's right.
At
and
Title?
then in the city at Title.
Yeah, beautiful.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Okay, this is the clip Blue King Brown featuring Joe Ma and The March. Enjoy.